Good morning. Let's try it again. You've probably already suspected that we're doing things a little different this morning. We try to make sure that my voice isn't the only voice heard around here and that you guys get to connect with one another and share a meal around a table. And we experience the Eucharist and communion together. And so this is that Sunday, and we appreciate you being here. Just for those that might be concerned, Peg Lyons called me this morning. So we had Mike Lyons' memorial service yesterday, his celebration of life service, and it went beautifully. It was just a wonderful event. And she called me first thing this morning and just said she's not going to be here because she didn't sleep last night because she was too wired. But she didn't want anybody to worry about her. So for those that might be concerned as to why she's not here, she just didn't sleep, and that's why. Quick announcements before we dive in. The main announcement is if you want to know what's going on, check in at mydaylightchurch.com. And the only other major announcement is that Daylight Youth are staying in here today. All the rest of the announcements you can find on daylightchurch.com, or most of you are already familiar with them. So we're going to jump right into the roundtable discussions. I would encourage you, if you're not at a table with other people, which it looks like everybody's already made that move, so good job. You're smarter than you look. It's nice. It's nice being around you intelligent folks. If you're watching online or you watch this later, it's going to be kind of awkward and weird. There's going to be long silences most likely, and I would encourage you to either journal or just skip this week. So a few ground rules that we always cover is, number one, this is a big nope. This is not time to monopolize a table and monopolize a conversation. You're going to find out that you have like 6 or 8 or 10 minutes to talk around the table, which gives each person about 1 or 2 minutes to share max. And so please do not monopolize. You're also welcome to take a pass if you'd like, if you're an introvert or if you're just uncomfortable or this makes you anxious in any sense or you just don't like the question. Feel free to say, I'm just going to take a pass on this, and there's no judgment at all. It's also not time to air your grievances, your favorite political candidate, or anything of a hot topic. And so please be mindful of the fact that we're a reach across the aisle church here with various perspectives on many, many important hot issues. And this is not the time to discuss those. It is a time, however, to listen. It's not necessarily a time to instruct or teach, although some important wisdom might be shared around the table. It's a time for opening your ears and hearing the other. And then finally, it's a time for developing community, developing friendships, and turning into a family. And then, this is a yup-ish, which I don't know if that's a word or not, but we're going to pass a mic at the end of each questions. My lovely son, Siler, who obviously inherited my gene pool, you can tell. He's going to be passing the mic, but he's not going to be actually passing the mic. He's going to have a firm grip on the mic, and no one gets to take it from him. And if he thinks you're going long, he can just withdraw the mic. So we'll start with this. You've got 6 minutes to answer it. I'm going to go first. Introduce yourself briefly and what's the favorite restaurant and why. Just obviously a icebreaker, get to know you question. I'm HL. Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming. My favorite crave right now is a place called Taco City. And so I tried them years ago and wasn't too impressed, but somebody else had me pick it up for lunch recently. And I had their brisket taco and their Korean steak taco and their chimichurri steak taco. And it was just heaven. And I'm feeling it right now. Are you feeling that? I'm doing my best to lose fat and gain muscle, and this place is my arch enemy at this point. So that's why. All right, ready, set, go. And time. Good job. T-ball. Easy one. We're not going to pass a mic for that one. We're going to assume that you guys can. Anybody want to yell out a favorite restaurant real quick?
Because I work there, so come bring me.
Yeah, Cole gets free breadsticks and salad every shift. Anybody else real quick? Gustavo's. I've been meaning to try it. That's a push in the right direction. Mojitos. Yes, they have my favorite dish. It's a paella, seafood paella. It's delicious. So last week we talked about big is small and small is big, and how it's the little things that add up to big things in life, and how the grand can be the enemy of the great. We want to do all these grand things, but most great things happen in small settings between people that are relational, or your financial improvement is in small increments and so forth. And so we're going to kind of stick with that focus today. We're going to, like Tremaine Shellman showed up way early for church this morning. It's a big step for him. It was good. This was a great thing that was also grand. And the big thing is we all crave Tremaine's presence. So the more we get of it, the better off we are. So love you being here, mixing it up, buddy. You got 8 minutes to answer this one. What is an area or skill that you once felt bad at that you are now accomplished? What got you from there to here? I'll go first. Public speaking was terrifying to me in college. I took a public speaking class in college, and I would nearly hyperventilate before each session. I taught a physics lab when I was a freshman in college, and my hand was shaking. So my hand shakes for different reasons today, but back then it was just because I was nervous. I was sweating, and my hand was shaking so bad that we had chalkboards back then, and the chalk was clacking against the chalkboard while I was doing it. And one of the students called me out in front of everybody and said, "Man, calm down, it's going to be okay," in front of my first class. And that's how terrified I was. And it just took a lot of repetitions, a lot of practice, a lot of recording myself. And I don't consider myself an excellent public speaker, but I don't lose sleep over it on Saturday nights like I once would have. And so I started teaching a Sunday school class and then a Monday night Bible study, and it's just experience and time given brought me from there to here. You got 8 minutes, go. And time. Siler, you want to get a mic ready? Who wants to share? So it may be weird talking about yourself with the whole group. It's one thing to talk around the table. So when we pass the mic, you can either share what you shared or with their permission share something that someone else shared. Who would like to go first? Dorothea? Oh, you got ninja'd.
Well, we decided that experience is the best teacher. So it could be about spiritual growth or anything else in life that you feel like you've gotten better at. It's probably because of experience.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Dorothea?
When I was younger, I was really bad at public speaking because I had a really bad stuttering problem. There was a time in my life where I cannot get 2 words out of my mouth without going, buh. And my senior year in high school, I got 100% A+ in my speech and debate team. And when I used to go to poetry bars with my friends, they had to sit out front where I could see them, but I would stand in front of the poetry bar and cite my poems, naturally.
Good job. I've heard it said that public speaking always ranks first in lists of fears of people over death and spiders and snakes and heights. Public speaking is number one. People would rather die or get in a cage with snakes than stand up in front of people and talk. Anybody else?
Man, patience. That's what I've learned how to do. That's all I got to say about that.
All right. Thank you, Bob. All right, next question. Oh, we got another one? Go for it.
I talked about how when our kids were first born, I'm not sure I was a very good dad. But the experience of being a parent, growing up as a Christian parent, the Lord taught me how to love and respect my kids.
Boy, it's a journey, isn't it? It is. For sure. And then comes grandkids, yeah. Next question. What is an area, finances, career, relationships, health, etc., that you'd like to grow? And what are your next steps? I pray that until I get this under wraps, you guys don't get tired of hearing about it. But right now, my struggles are physical, and I'm trying to overcome Parkinson's and spinal fusion issues at the same time. And so it's just a day-to-day grind of trying to stay in shape, trying to be as healthy as I can possibly be, and doing a spinal surgery that's scheduled for August 22nd and 23rd in 2 parts. And so it's the little things, it's lifting those weights, eating the right food, going for walks, that sort of thing. And I've got other stuff that I'll talk about in the next question, but that's the main thing I'm going for right now. So my next steps are surgery and continued reps in the gym and continued reps with the fork to mouth. You got 8 minutes, go. Time. Is this too short a time, too long a time, or just about right? Just about right? I'm getting an okay sign from the wife, so I know I'm doing well. Who would like to share?
So I would have to say I got like the top 3 priorities would be like finances, then career, and then health. I'm just kind of working on myself and getting myself to where I want to be. That's all I got.
Good. Thank you for sharing, Cole. Quan?
We talked about a few different topics, utilizing our time wisely, being mindful of our health, being aware of our finances, and finalizing our final plans.
Good. Did anybody talk about next steps? Becky? Hit Ernie first, he's close.
It was kind of an all of the above, the finances, but as far as health, learning how to cook better meals, and then also starting to work out. My son and I are starting to go to a gym, so it was an improvement there. But all the above as far as finances, career, relationships, trying to reach out to people. And then it was mentioned at the table on relationships, on how we could work on conversations to talk with people about Christ instead of being an island, which is easier to do a lot of times than it is to share your faith. So that was something that I think we need to work on.
Thank you, Ernie. Becky?
So we talked about a couple different things at our table, but probably the theme that covered the whole table was we talked about health, and the next steps were, I think for most of us, were fairly immediate. I know I said, my next step is making sure I go for a walk at some point today, and make sure I stretch and be mindful of what I eat. But I think none of us had any big, grand, glorious next steps. It was just, okay, well, what am I doing today and what am I doing tomorrow? And 2 of us now are going to check in with each other, and so it's good.
Very good. Anybody else? Nancy?
Well, I was so busy reading the first part that I didn't even see anything about the next step. And we never talked about this at the table, but I wanted to say that my daughter, whom I haven't seen in 18 months, and many of you know she's a full-time missionary in Peru, she and her family are in town. And so I'm hoping to get together with her, and this is not to be morbid, I'm trying to be very practical. I'm going to make an appointment with Newcomers Funeral Home and see if she will go with me out there. Now, I've been planning my funeral for at least 10 years, and that was before I knew H. So, H, I'd probably like for you to speak at my funeral, but that's another thing. But I want to talk with her about making those final plans. I don't know that I'm going to do a prepaid funeral, but I want to talk about I have it all written out, what my funeral what I want it to be. Don't bring flowers, don't do that. Send money to my daughter and bring balloons, okay? I want balloons at my funeral. Just stuff like that, really, because I want my end of my life to be a celebration of how I made you all laugh most of the time. And so those things, I think that many of us in here can be thinking about that with our children. And if you're afraid to broach that subject, don't be, because it's a fact of life. We just celebrated yesterday the life of one of our members here, and during that time I went to celebrate the memorial of another friend of mine that I didn't even know was sick, and she passed away unexpectedly, and so I went to her memorial yesterday. And life is short. We don't know, and we hear it all the time. You know, you can drop dead, you can go out here in a car accident, blah, 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 blah. We don't think that way. We think we're going to live forever, and we are. We're all going to live forever someplace. But we want to go out of this world in, well, heck, I want to go out in a flare, honey. I don't want to just dwindle into a little ash. I want you all to know that, or I want people to know that my life counted for something, that I influenced you toward heaven, that each of you, when you came in touch with me, you were pointed closer to Jesus. And that's what I want my life to count for. I don't want to die and have nobody say, she influenced me for nothing. I want people to say, she pointed me to Jesus Christ, the eternal Savior, creator of my soul and lover of my soul, the hound of heaven. Give me a soapbox. I can preach. I could preach.
And now is not the time for it. Thank you. But we appreciate that. And yesterday was a special event, and then it was a celebration of life. And Nancy's spot on that that's what you want. There's times that, boy, there's a lot to say here, and I'm not going to preach either, but there's times that death feels more tragic than others. And in some sense, you have the ability to prepare for what you pass on to the next generation. And it's important to make those designations in your life. Next question. What is a spiritual area that you'd like to grow? What do you see as the major obstacles, and how can you move forward? Mine is a secret that I will unveil next week. But I feel like a lot's been opened up to me recently that I want to talk about next week, and I'm going to save those comments for then. But we'll cut you guys loose to talk about this. You got 8 minutes. Ready, set, go. And time. We're over time now, so we're going to fly through a couple comments. Who would like to share? Cole?
So we were actually talking about like, what is a spiritual area? Is that praying more? Is that teaching more, giving more? And interestingly enough, my dad Chris told me this about a year or two ago that sometimes it's helpful to people just to listen to their story and to kind of just give them acknowledgement. And so for me, I basically, it just kind of hit me just now that a spiritual area that I'd like to grow is just kind of be more of a witness to things, be in the moment with people, instead of trying to teach or correct or preach, and sometimes just being there as an eye or an ear to be in the moment with somebody could make a biggest difference.
That's great. Thank you.
I think we just kind of touched on the fact that you have to make time to get into that Bible, because we watch TV, we internet, and everything else. Make that time for the Bible.